Manchester City released statement as Blues settle APT case with Premier League. Manchester City have agreed a settlement with the Premier League over associated party transaction rules. Manchester City have reached a settlement agreement with the Premier League over a case the club brought concerning the league's associated party transaction APT rules. A statement released by City on Monday afternoon said that both parties had agreed to terminate the proceedings and that, as a result of the settlement, City accept the current APT rules are valid and binding. The club's statement said the Premier League and Manchester City FC have reached a settlement in relation to the arbitration commenced by the club earlier this year concerning the Premier League's associated party transaction APT rules, and as a result, the parties have agreed to terminate the proceedings. This settlement brings an end to the dispute between the parties regarding the APT rules. As part of the settlement, Manchester City accepts that the current APT rules are valid and binding. It has been agreed that neither the Premier League nor the club will be making any further comment about the matter. City initially challenged the league over the rules in January 2024, with a tribunal ruling in October of that year that 3 aspects of the rules were unlawful. As a result, the rules were rewritten, but City still believed they were anti-competitive and breached public law principles. The club's lawyers filed a new case earlier this year, and the case was due to be heard later in 2025. However, the agreement reached between the two parties means that the hearing has now been shelved, and the Premier League's rewritten APT rules will remain in place. The rules govern sponsorship deals that clubs sign with companies linked to their ownership. They were drawn up to ensure that clubs don't overinflate some deals to boost their revenue. City wanted to sign sponsorship deals with Etihad Airways and First Abu Dhabi Bank in 2023. But when they submitted them to the Premier League, they were blocked for not being fair market value under the APT rules. That is when City challenged the legality of those rules, winning the initial case last year and forcing some of them to be changed, with a ruling in February 2025 concluding that all the previous rules must be void. The change in the rules means those deals City agreed 2 years ago could now go through. The legal action is separate from the one covering 130 charges laid out against City by the Premier League for alleged breaches of financial regulations. City has denied all charges. Erling Haaland jokes Arsenal star is to blame after being left needing stitches. Erling Haaland was the match winner for Norway in their 1-0 win over Finland, but the Manchester City striker needed stitches after the doors of the team bus hit his face before the game. Erling Haaland ended up hurting himself before Norway's World Cup qualifier with Moldova on Tuesday after being smashed in the face by the team bus, leaving him with a nasty cut that required stitches. Haaland, 25, is a key player for the Norway national team and was the match winner in their 1-0 win over Finland on Thursday as the Manchester City star started the international break with a bang. But he was then caught out in bizarre fashion when the doors of the team coach left him requiring stitches outside the Norway team's hotel in Oslo. It said the striker was waiting on the pavement to collect his luggage when the incident that left him with a bloodied lip occurred, with Haaland being struck right in the mouth when the doors of the coach swung open. Per The Sun, witnesses of the incident outlined that Haaland turned the air blue, shouting before being tended to by the Norway team doctor, Ola Sand. He later shared a selfie which showed off the extent of his injuries, which he revealed required stitching up. Just got banged out by a bus door. 3 stitches, he told fans on Snapchat alongside a snap of his face. Some fans took the chance to make a joke out of his unfortunate injury, with one asking if he had been punched. Haaland replied, "Ha ha ha ha, wrong answers only." Another supporter responded implying that Haaland's international teammate and Arsenal captain Martin Odegaard was responsible, with Haaland quipping, "Correct." Fortunately for Manchester City, Haaland's clash with the Norway team coach is unlikely to prevent him from featuring in this weekend's eagerly anticipated Manchester derby when Premier League action resumes. Before that, though, Haaland will hope to come through another game unscathed when Ståle Solbakken side face Moldova on Tuesday. Norway are currently top of Group Y in World Cup qualifying with 4 wins from as many games to date. Israel, Italy, Estonia and Moldova are the other teams in the group, with Norway facing Moldova on Tuesday. Haaland has been in fine form for Manchester City this term, scoring 3 goals in as many Premier League games this term. He will be looking to maintain that record when Manchester United travel to the Etihad on Sunday in this week's marquee fixture. The arrival of Magnez Akliouche and Gianluigi Donnarumma at Manchester City. It was a cool Manchester morning, the kind where the mist rolled low across the Etihad campus, giving the complex a sense of quiet anticipation. Inside the sprawling training ground, 2 new arrivals were about to set foot on a journey that could reshape their careers and Manchester City's future. Magnez Akliouche, the highly talented French midfielder, had just walked through the glass doors, wide-eyed and visibly moved by the moment. At only 22, he carried the flair and elegance of a modern playmaker, a footballer blessed with agility, vision and daring creativity. His hair still damp from the rain outside, he clutched his City training kit as if it were a crown jewel. Beside him towered Gianluigi Donnarumma, the Italian giant who had commanded Paris Saint-Germain's goal for years. The 6'5" goalkeeper was already a European champion with Italy, a veteran at only 26, and now he had chosen Manchester as his new fortress. His calm, stoic demeanour contrasted with the youthful excitement radiating from Akliouche. Yet behind his composed face, there was a fire. He knew this was a chance to prove himself on the biggest stage in England. They were led into the main conference room where Pep Guardiola was waiting. Pep was already deep in thought, studying tactical diagrams scattered across the table. When he noticed the 2 men entering, his expression softened into a warm smile. "Bienvenidos," Pep greeted, switching seamlessly into French. "Welcome, Magnez." Then he turned to Donnarumma. "Benvenuto, Gigio." Both players responded with respectful nods, but Pep motioned for them to sit. He wasn't just welcoming them to a club, he was about to welcome them into his vision. Pep's words of philosophy. Pep leaned forward, eyes intense, hands clasped tightly together. "You are not just here because of talent," he began. "Talent is everywhere. You are here because I believe you can understand what it means to be part of Manchester City.